much about him. That's about to change. Battery electric vehicles, also known as BEVs, are a fastly growing industry. According to author Andrew Pourtois, on his fourth edition of Dictionary of Environmental Science and Technology published in 2008 by Wiley, said, BEV is an electrical vehicle that utilizes chemical energy stored in rechargeable battery packs. To paraphrase, electric vehicles no longer require a combustion engine in order to run. Instead, they use an electric motor that gets power from the electric battery in order to run. Instead of taking these cars to a gas station, you would take them to a charging station where you can recharge them. There are many factors that are helping the industry to grow faster, most of them having to do with changes in technology and also the requirement to find something that helps the environment, and electric vehicles is just that. The technology is releasing new batteries that are able to sustain charge for longer periods of times than older batteries. Also, the number of charging stations is growing quickly, allowing more people to find charging stations closer to them. The benefits to the environment is another factor that is helping the industry grow fast. Modern electric batteries can sustain charge for longer periods of times than older batteries. Electric batteries in the early 2000s had a range of about 100 miles, but newer batteries can sustain a lot more than that. According to an article published in January 10, 2020 by Faye Siddiqui from the Washington Post, said Tesla's long-range Model S promises to drive roughly 370 miles without stopping for a charge. That's the distance from Baltimore to Buffalo, New York. In March 5th, 2020, automotive reporter Jamie LaRue wrote in an article for newspaper USA Today, General Motors engineers invented the Ultium batteries to have 60% more capacity than the current batteries in the Chevrolet Bolt, which is one of GM's first electric vehicles. She also said that GM is investing billions of dollars in the creation of new electric vehicles and new electric batteries. The number of charging stations is also growing very quickly. One of the main reasons that people used to not buy electric vehicles is because they were worried that at some point they wouldn't have a place to recharge them. But now there are many charging stations so that they are not worried about that anymore. In 2014, Graham Capill and et al. Wrote in their book Real Estate Concepts, published by Routledge, buyers need to know that there is sufficient electric vehicle charge point infrastructure to make them feel confident that they are going to find a charging station close to them. As you probably noticed by now, when you go shopping in shopping malls, you can now find charging stations where you can park the car and charge it at the same time. Also, you can find a lot of charging stations in densely populated cities like Annapolis, Maryland, or in Washington, D.C. According to the second edition of Energy written by Cutler, Cleveland, and Christopher Morris, published in 2014 by Elsevier Science and Technology, some of these offer a much higher voltage and current than typical household source, and thus are known as fast or quick charging stations. BEVs are also very appealing for consumers who are interested in protecting the environment. Author Andrew Courtois also said in his 2008 edition of Dictionary of Environmental Science and Technology, electric vehicles use electric motors instead of an internal combustion engine, which produce no exhaust fumes and minimal pollution. Author John Lippert in 2018 in his book Bloomberg Quick Take Hard to Explain Topics simply said, published by Bloomberg, around the globe, automakers and governments are betting big on electric cars. He also stated, plans to limit climate change counts on getting more carbon burning vehicles off the road. To paraphrase, he is saying that government and automakers are interested in reducing the amount of CO2 emissions that carbon burning vehicles release into the air. The United Kingdom is a clear example of this movement. According to an article of the 5th edition of Q Finance, published in 2014 by ANC Black, the United Kingdom has around 7,500 electric vehicles, but the government has set an ambitious target to reduce that amount of carbon burning vehicles to zero and instead have only electric vehicles on the road by 2050. Q Finance also highlights other governments making big investments to promote the production of low emission vehicles like Italy and Germany. In conclusion, new battery technology, the rising number of charging stations, and its benefits to the environment is making battery electric vehicles a quickly growing industry. New batteries can store a lot more energy than older batteries. There are more places and ways to charge electric vehicles than most people think. According to automotive reporter Jamie LaRue, in her recent article for USA Today, the new batteries are designed for level 2 and direct current fast charging capability. Most regular homes have level 1 and level 2 outlets. Level 2 is what would power a typical washer or a dryer at home. Electric vehicles also attract a lot of customers that are interested in helping the environment. Lastly, electric vehicles are a quickly growing industry because they are starting to look much better than before. Thank you.